Hi everyone, in this video I want to go through some basics about setting up a rigging system for the leg. So what we're going to be doing is taking a look at an IK handle system. So we'll start by adding in some IK, and then what we'll do is add some control handles. The control handles predominantly are going to be a hip control, a knee control, and then a series of foot controls. And that's what the animator is going to use to actually get the character to move around. So let's start off by adding an IK system onto the leg. I'm just going to turn my grid off so you can see it a little more clearly here. I'm using my 2016. The tools more or less are going to be the same in older versions, but you might have to hunt around in the different menus. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pop into this skeleton menu, and what I want to do is find create IK handle just here, and I'm going to click on the options for that. And what I want to do is set the current solver to rotate plane solver like this. Okay, you have a single chain and you have a rotate plane. The rotate plane is what you need to use in order to get your character's legs to point in the right direction. In as far as the way that the knees bend. The same is also true of the arms and the elbow joints. You need to use a rotate plane solver, which will allow you to adjust the forward position of the way that the knees and elbows work. So with this tool active, we click on the hip, and then we click on the ankle. And what that's going to do is create a control system that basically will automatically override the knee rotation. So when we move this IK handle around, you can see that the knee will automatically move as well. Okay, what it's doing is actually rotating. Okay, so that can be in multiple directions, as you can see here. So this is basically the system that allows us to get our characters to walk or perform other leg actions. All right. Now, at the moment, what I've got is a setup for a basic foot, okay? So with my basic foot, essentially what we've got is sort of the main section of the foot, and then we might have some kind of geometry in here, like some edge loops running through here on the foot, which allows us to bend the toe area. Okay, this is just a basic block model, so generally speaking, anywhere you see these gaps between the different pieces, you would actually have geometry in there connecting the parts together, but this is just so you can see the basic rudimentary setup. So obviously we're going to have an ankle over here in this gap, a knee over here, and then we'll have sort of like a hip, some hip geometry in here. Okay, so you'll also notice this circular handle at the top of the IK. It's a brown ring with a little white triangle. That triangle is showing you the direction the knee is pointing in this case. All right. Now there is in the channel box here under the IK handle that we've just created, there is a twist setting just here, and that's what controls the angle of this triangle. So you can see there I can twist that value around, and it changes the angle of the triangle, which then also makes the knee twist. Okay. Now we'll be more or less overriding this value with a handle later on that will connect down to the knee. Okay, so that's our first IK handle in. I'm going to rename this ankle IK. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a couple more IK handles for the feet down here. What you need to do is repeat this process for the other leg. I'm just going to do the one leg, but you'll need to repeat the same process for the other leg. So usually it's pretty handy to do the main leg as we've just done, then repeat that process on the other side. You cannot mirror these handles from one side to the other, so you have to set them up individually. All right, it's not like the joints where you can make the joints for one side and then mirror them to the other. Okay. So once you've done the ankle IK for both legs, then what we're going to do is pop down and we're going to do the feet controls. So let's take a quick look. What we're going to do is pop back up to the skeleton menu, and we're going to go back down to IK handle into the options, and this time I'm going to set the current solver to a single chain solver. We don't need a rotation plane for these. So once we've got single chain active, I'm going to click on the ankle joint and then on the ball joint, or the foot joint, whatever you've named this one. Okay, and what that's going to do is add in an IK handle, which will allow us to, I'm just going to reset my move tool here. What that IK handle is going to do is allow you to do like a foot tap kind of movement. Okay, I'm then going to add a final IK handle. So I'll just grab the tool again, from the ball of the foot down to the toe tip, or the end of the toe, like that. And what that one's going to allow us to do is a toe tap, like this. Okay, so I want to go back in and rename those. It's always a good idea to name things as you go along. So this IK here is going to be toe IK. And I should actually be differentiating left and right here as well. So I'm going to put left at the end. Oops. So toe IK left. I'm actually thinking maybe put the left at the beginning. So it's left toe IK. Only so if it ends up in an alphabetical list, all the left hand side parts will come out together in the list, and then all the right hand side. If you put that at the end, you'll get sort of the left toe and the right toe, and the left foot and the right foot, and so on, and the order of the list won't actually make much sense. So let's just pop this in as well. So I'm going to call this left, I'll call this foot IK, and then we'll just double check that I've got a left on the ankle, so left ankle IK as well. Okay, so those are pretty much set up and good to go. Now we'll be coming back and addressing the connections of these later when we create some foot control objects, but at the moment that's the basic idea. We just go in and add those IK handles. Now you'll notice at the moment that obviously if I lift the ankle, it's also going to lift the IK for the toe and the foot as well. So you should be basically getting this kind of action. Alright, now obviously with the IK handles, they're going to have random values. You just need to leave these as they are. Okay, don't zero them out, and don't you know, freeze them or anything like that, because you might find it messes the rig up. If you zero them out, basically the IK will jump to the middle of the grid down here, and the foot will go with it. So you don't want to mess around with these. If you're playing around just testing the movement like this, what you need to do is then undo to reset it back to where it was. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Alright, I'm going to leave this video here nice and short. That's the first IK. You'll need to do the same thing for the right hand leg, and we'll go through the other sections of the rig in other videos. So I'll speak to you soon.